Welcome to the road to $1 million US. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 4-hour time frame, because right now we are potentially about to confirm a bearish divergence, which is when you have higher highs in the Bitcoin price and lower highs in the RSI momentum indicator. Now, typically this points towards us getting a break from this bullish price action we saw here recently, either in the form of some choppy sideways price action or potentially some bearish momentum over the weekend here. Now, typically we don't see huge volatility like this over the weekend, so therefore my base case expectation is that we are just going to be chopping sideways over the course of this weekend here, in between this big level of resistance and this big level of support. In terms of the support to the downside, this is sitting from 96K all the way down to 95,000, and the resistance is sitting from 98K all the way up to 100,000 in the Bitcoin price. Let me make one thing very clear though. Right now in the short term, like I said, I am expecting some choppy sideways or potentially even bearish momentum over the weekend, but that does not mean that I am bearish on Bitcoin, because I can simply be bearish on one time frame and be bullish on another. Because if I take a look at the 1 day time frame, for example, this is still in a very clear uptrend. So yes, I am still bullish on Bitcoin. And yes, I am also still in my 20x long position all the way from the lows here from around 77K. And I'm just going to continue to let this run to the upside so long as I do not clear signals that this trend is actually reversing to the downside. So for example, if we now get some kind of break of this trend line, we trade below this 95K level, for example, so we lose this big level of support, that will be the type of warning signals I would be looking for. In the case that I see something like that happen, I would draw a Fibonacci like this and look to see if we are breaking some critical levels of Fibonacci support here in the short term in order to confirm that we are actually seeing a reversal and not just another higher low coming in, after which a higher high follows. So again, for now on the 1 day time frame, we are simply making higher highs and higher lows. Besides that, we should also check back in with this 1 hour time frame, because 2 days ago I was talking about this sideways range we were basically trading in, and since then we have broken to the upside as expected, because like I was showing in my most recent video, we had massive liquidity to the upside here around this 96,000 US dollar level. So I thought the chance of us breaking to the upside to at the very least grab this liquidity here were extremely high. And in the end, it did play out as expected. So now with that information in mind, what should we be looking for next in the Bitcoin price? First of all, as you can see right here, at 96.3K, we took out over $40 billion worth of short positions. So they all got liquidated here once the Bitcoin price reached that level. And if we now look towards the liquidity that is left, well, for example, at around 100K, we have another $30 billion worth of short positions. And just to visualize this in the charts, guys, if we make a move up to this 100K level, we are liquidating $30 billion worth of positions. So yes, even though for now in the immediate short term, with that bearish divergence potentially confirming soon, it is the most likely that we are going to see some choppy sideways price action over the weekend. But in my personal opinion, it is also very likely that we are going to take out this big level of liquidity around this 100K level at the very least before we potentially start getting some short-term downside. Of course, nothing I say in my videos is financial advice, but I'm simply telling you what I'm seeing in the charts, and you can do with that information what you like. If we zoom into the 3-day time frame for the Bitcoin liquidation heat maps, notice how right now we have big liquidity to the downside at 95.6K, and we have liquidity to the upside as well at 98.5K. So potentially throughout the weekend here, this could be some potential price targets as we are basically chopping sideways. For now, it does seem more likely that we are going to get a short-term move to the downside to at the very least take out all of this liquidity here at 96.5K. Lastly, let's take a quick look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables. Yesterday, we saw a massive net inflow of about $400 million in a single day of trading, most of that coming from the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. So again, for now, the Bitcoin ETFs are having an upwards pressuring effect on the Bitcoin price. Yes, the day before we saw a small outflow here, but overall, if we just look at the trend here this week on the right side column, we are seeing massive inflows this week, and it will definitely be interesting to keep track of this tomorrow as we get the last day of this week in terms of inflows or outflows, but of course also what they are going to do next week. So if you are not subscribed already, guys, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with notifications on so you do not miss any of these important update videos. But regardless, if you do end up subscribing or not, thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.